start a stream and pause the stream, hopefully. There we go. Actually, just lower the volume of the microphone a little bit. All right.
I was hoping that there'd be some new information at last, but, well,
Damn
you
it.
can't really get everything.
You know, Dark Souls 3 is done. The DLC is done. They can come back here and add some information, I think.
Yeah,
It's
like,
only
what's
fair.
stopping them, really?
Yeah, they have plenty of time on their hands now. I mean, this is what people are clamoring for.
It's that good content.
Yes, just any content. Just add 100 ogres in.
Perhaps you've seen
What's a terrible place to put a bunch of ogres?
Shrine of Amana. In addition to the two that are already there.
Yes. Just put even more ogres in the put a bunch of ogres in the the last
Black Gulch?
pool. You know the last pool in Shrine of Amana before the boss?
Oh, the one where you're invaded by Peculiar Kindalar?
Yes.
where
So
Yeah.
you literally can't go anywhere.
ailing mind.
That sounds like that's some good content. Actually, I'm skipping that. We have all seen that. I don't know how many times now.
I think I've actually only seen the opening like once. I don't think I've ever sat through it more than once.
Oh, well, when I've started streaming this game previously, I usually go through the intro movie.
Yeah.
Because it's even if it sort of says very little, it still looks
And also
kind of cool.
basically has nothing to do with the actual game.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of weird even that they have this there was some people who thought it was a bit strange that you're clearly male when you start the game and then you can pick your
I mean, yeah, it is a little.
yeah.
But I guess if they're not going to just put the create a character thing right when you start, I suppose.
Yeah, they
make that choice and
yeah.
they went with male, I guess. I don't know. I don't particularly care.
No, it's not really like I'm thinking here. What would they have done otherwise? It would be to make some sort
All
of
they did was
androgynous
put the,
model.
No. They just would have put the create a character thing at the very start immediately instead of you walking 10 feet and then you getting the prompt instead. Which
Yeah,
probably would have been a better plan, honestly. If we're being completely honest here, that would have been a better idea.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I can get behind that. And how it is in 3 is honestly better.
That's how it is in 1 and 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And Demon Souls.
Yeah, true. But if they wanted to do something like this, I mean, like what option would you have then, other than I don't know, randomizing what you start as? But it's like
Yeah,
it's
randomizing would
connected.
do it too.
I mean, it's like it's connected to the intro movie.
Where you're not entirely sure, you've forgotten pretty much most shit and
Yeah,
are really confused about why you're anywhere.
yeah. And I was kind of thinking because I'm really not a huge fan of most of the lore stuff in this game. But I do like the particular detail here at the start when they give you the human effigy and says, "Look at this. This is you. What do you see?" And at that point, maybe you don't remember yourself. Maybe you see something completely different, and now you're a different person.
Sure. But you know what the actual explanation for most of this is, and in particular why the intro has almost nothing to do with the game, is because of the gigantic shift in leadership and scope about, a third of the way through the development of this game.
Yeah, I heard details about that, but not like exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's there was a former director who was way too ambitious and had ideas, and I'm putting those ideas in quotes, and the I is capitalized. And unfortunately, he kind of ran this project into the ground somewhat. So they put on a different director, Yui Tanimura, who is really good, in fact. Has proven himself to be pretty dang good over time, in my opinion. He was put on the project to kind of salvage what that other director did to it.
Right.
As why this game is simultaneously not at all like Dark Souls 1 and also a lot like Dark Souls 1.
I'm going to steal your naming convention slightly here.
You know your own name.
Pretty good ed.
Yeah.
It's your
It's an alright ed. It's an
Yeah.
adequate ed.
sharing.
Ah, damn, that would have been better.
It's a human effigy.
But yeah, I remember when Dark Souls... By the way, this is, should I say Doc or MDST? I don't know which better.
Doc is shorter and easier to say.
Right, Doc then. Is graciously agreed to co-host this Dark Souls thing.
Effigy of you.
Yeah. I love this game.
Me too, actually.
It's
Do
my
like it a
favorite
lot.
of these games.
I'm still undecided if I like, or actually which one I like the most, because I like all of them for different reasons.
I used to be what I said before Dark Souls 3 came out, and kind of made me realize things about 3 and Bloodborne I didn't like. Whereas
Yeah.
I have almost no complaints with Dark Souls 2 Scholar specifically.
Right. Yeah, I haven't played Bloodborne, unfortunately. I don't have a PS4. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
That's fair.
But it looks fun. But at the same time, the harvesting of blood vials looks like a huge pain.
It's not as big of a pain as you'd think, but it can be annoying at times.
Yeah, I just have this feeling that I would do really poorly, and then I have to run around gathering vials and just kind of lose interest. But at the same time, I feel like I would enjoy the, what are they called, chalice dungeons more than most people seem to.
Oh, yeah?
Just running around and hacking things into pieces seems pretty fun to me. I don't know. So I was gonna ask, what I usually do, like pretty much every time I play this game, and I've played it quite a few times at this point, is that I start with the knight or the bandit. I think it's the bandit that has the most. No, not the bandit. The cleric, I think it is. And I just get a bunch of strength, and then I two-hand a big heavy sword, and I cut everything to pieces. And that's like what I'm decently good and comfortable with doing. But I was thinking for this playthrough that I should try something different. So, what do you got? What should I try?
What should you try?
What should I try?
That's a good question.
Something that's different from, you know, regular bastard sword, great sword, weapon. But
Yeah,
not
in
like
that case, I
super
think-
gimmicky, like dual wielding shields or something like that, because
Oh, of course not.
that's just gonna be tedious if I try to do that.
A good plan in this game, huh? They see the thing is, you're kind of spoiled for choice because all of them work.
I know. But it's still like, every time I start up the game, I'm like, this time I'm gonna try something different. And then I'm like, after a little while, I like, but I really like this weapon. And then I go back to my great swords.
Right.
And because when I run into trouble with something, like something gives me trouble, then I'm like, I'm going back to what I'm used to. But I thought I would try something that I'm not used to.
I like a lot of the spears in this game. Anyone that has a swing as its strong attack, I'm super fond of. I like the Grand Lance. The lance is super fun. It's very strong. I like rapiers. I like curved swords. I like.
Oh yeah, curves. I've also done builds where I use the Warped Sword.
Oh, yeah.
That was also very good.
All right. How's about pure dexterity and you end up using the Bewitched Alan sword? It's Sir Alan's katana.
Sure.
Technically
I mean,
a
it'll be a
Naimaki.
long time before I get that, but
Oh yeah, it'll be a long time before you get that, but you can use any dexterity weapon that you want before then. You want to try
That's
out
very
like
true.
the partisan? Go right ahead.
mm-hmm. So that would be the swordsman class then, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the highest dex, and also it's probably the strongest start to start with.
No. Yeah, I'm not gonna edit the character any.
People come here for the same reason.
I mean, sure, if you want to be boring about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I should think.
I just don't do it enough that it would be fast.
I guess Ed is just pretty good. He's very boring. when you
Yeah,
get down to it.
he's just very adequate.
He's reasonable Ed.
Yeah.
Responsible Ed.
This bit I actually despise though.
Through the door.
The part where they say you'll lose your money because you'll die a bunch. Ho ho ho! This is Dark Souls, and this game is known for being difficult. That bit.
Alternatively, if you've never played any of these games before and have somehow managed to do a blackout about it, being told that you are going to die often is actually kind of reassuring. Because it means that you don't need to worry about it too bad if you do. You don't have to feel bad about it.
I guess so, but
It's got a weird sliding scale where if you have played these games before, it'll just be kind of like what do you call it? Self-referential and
Yeah.
like, oh, well, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you weren't aware of it, though, I think that's a fair, it's a fair warning.
I suppose, but like I've heard people who are beginners mention that bit and say something like, "Oh, great! Like the game is mocking me already. Great, that's exactly what I wanted to hear." It's like it's making fun of me for being new.
I mean, sure, that's also fair. I think you can take it in a number of ways.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't like it. I think it's too meta.
I see you're using the slashing weapon against the thing that's resistant to slashing.
No, is that a thing?
Yep.
Well,
The damage type that the ogres are most weak to is thrusting. So using your short sword two-handed there with thrust would do 200 a pop.
ah, I didn't realize. I can't remember the last time I actually considered damage output. Like,
Oh, damage types, if you actually like play towards them, they matter a lot.
yeah, I know that about the mace that people just say.
Oh yeah.
The mace
A
crushes
whole lot of
everything.
enemies. Yeah, a whole lot of enemies in this game are weak to strike damage. That's also a big reason why I like the spears in this game, like the basic ass spear and the partisan in particular, because their swings don't do slashing; they do strike damage.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's an interesting way to go about grabbing that when you can just walk down the path.
I know, but I've gotten used to
It's
doing
exciting, though.
It's
I
very
can
exciting.
appreciate it.
It's very exciting. But it's I mean, I have seen people walk down the path, and I have to walk up the path to get out of there anyway. But I don't know. I just did that once, and now I can't stop doing it.
Fair enough. So you've already failed your bonfire list run. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
No. Well, we're just gonna have to make it a deathless run then, right?
Yeah, there we go. That's exciting.
Yeah. So, I can't read stream chat right now because I have to have the game in full screen for some reason. If I don't, then Windows is like, why are you pressing buttons that don't do anything? Bing, bing, bing.
That's confusing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Proto Ivy asks, wait, this hippo guy is just Kong Dalala. And they also made the etiquette joke that I was going to keep in the hopper, but unfortunately, I guess it's too obvious.
Yeah. It's too obvious, and I still didn't think of it.
You're gonna want to get El Happy, and Katana Boy is fun, and dual-wielding goofy swords. There are other things said about this.
You can do, I suppose I could power stance something stupid as well. It's also an option. But who would do that? He looks
Unless I'm
like...
actually power stancing a weapon, I like to keep both of my weapons on the same hand. That's just me. That's why every time I've been starting my own, I immediately go ahead and put the short sword on the second slot.
Ah, okay. I
Yeah, petrified something.
I never noticed for some reason. But I should... Ooh, Titanite Chunk. That's really good.
That's the good stuff.
I should point out that my guest here is way, way better at this game than I am, and is streaming attempts at a bonfireless, deathless run.
Yep.
On his channel. You can plug it in chat if you want to. I don't know.
Hey, yeah.
It's I don't
That's
know.
me.
You've
Got a name right there.
Brave names. So far, what's the furthest you've gotten so far?
You see, by asking that, you're asking me to reveal my most embarrassing secret.
Oh. Let's hear
Which
it.
isn't the secret, considering it was uploaded already. So I have done about 6 runs so far, all of which have ended in failure at different times.
Yeah.
The farthest I've gotten thus far is in Dranglake Castle. Amazingly, my most recent loss was to the twin dragon slayers of all enemies, dragon riders of all enemies.
Oh.
I think that's the first time I've ever died to the twin dragon riders.
Yeah, that's you know, the stress can play tricks with your mind. Make you do
Alternatively,
things.
it's because I just underestimated them. I walked in there and just started hitting fools, which is not, which doesn't work if they're a boss and they can hit you back. And well, I didn't have enough health to survive that many hits.
Yeah, they do hit pretty hard.
They do hit reasonably hard, yeah.
I do have a strategy for them. If I didn't use that strategy, I would probably have died more than once to them. But,
see, the thing is, I totally do too, and I just decided not to do it. I to fire my ranged weapon of whatever I kind of have at the one with the bow, which usually gets it to drop down. And the one with the bow has about 1/4 of the health of the one that doesn't.
I wonder what happened there. Like, I realize why that is the case, but, like, lore-wise, what happened? Why is he such a skinny dragon rider?
Well, he's the apprentice one. Let's go with that. He's younger.
Ah.
That's why he's wearing the blue armor and stays back with a bow.
Until someone annoys him too much. Yeah, but the first time I fought them, they murdered me, and well, basically I was really bad at dealing with the fact that there was one of them shooting me with arrows. I don't think I even saw him. I was like, where are the arrows coming from? And I couldn't see him for some reason. It was just snow blind or something.
Well, the upper rafters of that room are, you know, dark and bluish shaded, just like the rest of Dranglake Castle. And that one is wearing blue armor, as opposed to the red armor that the other Dragon Riders wear. Weirdly enough, when you can get the Dragon Rider armor, you get the blue armor.
Huh.
The one that looks way worse and also only pops up on a single enemy.
I didn't even know you could get it.
It is only available on Bonfire Intensity 2, I think, for the Iron Keep. So if you've never done New Game Plus, then you wouldn't have ever seen it.
Okay. Got it.
New Game Plus in this game, by the way, is rad. It's the only game in the series where they put new enemies in.
I did like that. I thought at times it got a little bit crazy, perhaps, because things hit so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just felt like it was, they could have calmed down on one or the other. Like, it was cool that there were a bunch of new enemies and phantoms and stuff. It was less cool that they could kill me in 2 hits.
Oh yeah, for certain.
Also, the one time I tried playing New Game Plus, I should probably still do it at some point, but especially now, it shouldn't be nearly the same issue. But the first time I tried playing it, I was invaded literally all the time.
Ah, yeah.
100% of the time I was invaded.
Yeah, that is much less likely to happen these days.
So it was interesting. I think I mean, it was kind of my fault, or it was my fault, but I didn't realize it. Because it was after I finished the game, I decided to go. Thanks for the follow, I think. Again, I can't look at the actual screen.
That would be Grumpy Grimwald is not following.
Hooray, thank you. My secretary. No. But yeah, it's like I mentioned, it's some weirdness.
Did you enter the Covenant of Champions like immediately?
No. I killed all NPCs in regular New Game before going to New Game Plus, and I didn't realize that my sin would carry over. So I got invaded by blue phantoms literally all the time. Like, as soon as I killed one, another one invaded. And that was before they did the thing where...
As the, I was about to say, there's the one with the axe that wakes up behind you.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
I have this zone completely down to a perfect science. After having done it probably about 10 times in the last last month or so. I've done this zone about 10 times perfectly, so.
I believe it. I tend to speed through it because I mean, you don't really get much here.
You get about 40,000 souls.
Oh, well, you know, if you count the bosses, but I mean I mean items and the tiny enemies and such. It's not like super.
Every soul
worth your
of
while.
that is precious and 100% worth getting. You gotta be able to get your 12,000 souls before you meet Melenchi, or you're not gonna be able to buy the what do you call it? The Fragrant Branch and get the free +1 ring covered in Silver Serpent ring.
Ah!
You gotta do it. If you don't do it, then you're missing out on extra souls from enemies.
No. God, you're right. My life is a lie. Oh, maybe that's a bit much.
Those 10 throwing knives are super useful.
I remember in the regular version of the game when the Hide Knight was still around.
Yeah, Hide Knight is no longer in the zone.
Ow, my head. Very rude on that. But yeah, when the Hide Knight was still... You know, the ragdolls are gone, but some peculiarities still remain.
Yep. I mean, the
can
ragdolls are still
appreciate.
there, you just can't interact with them.
Yeah.
They can still ragdoll in very entertaining and silly ways if you get lucky.
Yeah, especially if you kill an enemy near a wall.
Yeah.
They respawn inside the wall and just stick out of it feet first.
Mhm.
That's my favorite. And it's also amusing when it kind of worked out for the best in a way. The thing where corpses despawn and then respawn when you get within a certain range of them. Because they fall to the floor and you hear noises, and because of that you have now created ambient noise out of just memory saving mechanics or whatever. So you frighten
question.
new players are like, what was that?
Quick question. What are you using to play the game?
Mouse and keyboard.
Okay, interesting. Because I never heard anyone actually playing and enjoying the mouse and keyboard controls of this game.
No, it's just me.
It's just you? You're the only one?
I'm pretty sure.
That's fair. Okay, I can understand that. When you get down to it, there's only 3 people on Earth who think Dark Souls 2 is the best Souls game anyway. So, like, I already believe it, that, you know, I understand. We're in similar boats here.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of times when I mean, I really should resist it probably, but when people say, oh no, this game is just unplayable on mouse and keyboard, and I'm like, what? I don't have a problem with it. I can play just fine. What are you talking about? But I realized that I play a lot of games with mouse and keyboard that no one else does, pretty much. Like Street Fighter.
Street Fighter on mouse and keyboard sounds like some heinous shit. Wow, hold on.
It's just keyboard in that case,
Okay.
not mouse. That would
Fair
be.
enough.
I don't know what that would do. Like, what inputs would I map to the mouse in that case?
I don't know.
Just whatever.
Punch and kick.
just any random punch and kick.
Yeah.
Could have B skill and B trigger on them maybe.
Meat Skeet is now following, and Prince Daniel for 20 has given you 65 bits.
Woo! Thanks for the bits.
The armor that Pretty Good Ed is wearing is the Wanderer gear. You can start out with it, or you can get it cast. Yeah, what do you call it? You get a set of it out in the Lost Bastille. In the well,
right.
where you
Yeah,
end
yeah,
up
yeah.
getting those 3 chained prisoners, undead citizens. That's what they're called. The
Undead
explodey dudes.
citizens.
That's what they're called. That's actually their enemy name. Undead citizens.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's like, please, they're
They're not undead cops.
Don't-
They're undead citizens.
yeah, just let's not disrespect the undead citizens. They have rights. They have rights to explode and, you know, petrify you.
Agony Agnes is now following.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'll try to live up to what some sort of expectation, I suppose. I don't know. I'm kind of bad. Case in point.
Yeah, the one difference I can point out specifically from how you're playing this game as opposed to how I play this game is that your camera isn't jerking around constantly all the time looking at everything.
No. I try to avoid that, especially when streaming, I guess.
Yeah, I don't
computer's
bother.
bad. No, I
I'm
never
just gonna
noticed.
go ahead and do that.
Yeah, no, I never noticed when watching your stream. It's just that my computer is kind of bad, so it's more noticeable when I do it. So I try to keep it to a minimum. And also at this point, I played Scholar so many times that I'm pretty sure I know where most enemies are and how long it takes them to run up behind me.
Yeah.
So usually I can just like 3, 2, 1 roll, and then they come up behind me and I can roll away from them.
1824 souls. You're never gonna buy that branch at this rate.
No, it's all over.
How are you gonna be able to get the Doors of Pharos as your second action of the game?
I'm starting to understand what you're talking about now. I wasn't sure at first, but yeah, if you were not using the Santir spear in your run, what would you use then?
I'd probably buy like 8 clubs from Melentia right here. Just get a bunch of clubs. That's my jam. That's my plan.
Do they have a lot of durability as well?
They've got a reasonable amount of durability. It's not like a huge amount. It's just that they are cheap, and they are
Right.
actually much better than you think they are.
That's always been the case, right? Like
Yeah,
even
the club has actually always been good, weirdly enough. It's been a good weapon since Demon Souls. The main thing is that it always has like really good strength scaling, as well as a decent moveset, so...
Yeah. A friend of mine did speedruns of Dark Souls 1.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that one of the best ways of beating the game, or speedruns on Soul Level 1 even, he just said that, yeah, you just get a club and you fire enchanted or something.
It probably the reinforced club in Dark Souls 1, which is basically just a better weapon and has bleed on it. But yeah.
That's possible, yeah. But I think he said something like if you use the regular club, you enchant them and you can do a jump attack and hit with both at the same time, and you can do like 600 damage or something. It was
Oh, neat.
It was something silly like that. That you could do more damage than you were supposed to.
I don't know. I didn't know anything about the jumping attack on the club. Specifically, the strong attack on the club in Dark Souls 1 was just the jumping attack.
Yeah.
You just do the normal jumping attack with it. I wasn't aware that it could hit twice. Probably as a bug, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I never tried that because I don't know. I never really, like, you're probably noticing from how I play this game in general is that I'm not really terribly interested in going at max speed. Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
like I like to fight everything, and well, not absolutely everything, but I don't really like. I'm not trying to speedrun or anything like that.
Even though I basically technically am trying to do a really slow speed run when I do the Deathless Bonfireless, I still take my time to do everything if I can. Do everything that I don't... Do everything that I sort of have to do along the critical path. If I don't have to go do that, I won't, but if there's enemies in front of me, I'll always hit them. I'll always punch them in the face.
Yeah.
Get them out of the way.
And fighting in this game is just fun.
Yes.
It's I think I said previously that I like all the Souls games for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I like 1 because I think as sort of like a whole, I think it's supremely good.
Okay. I specifically think that Dark Souls 1 is the most consistent one, personally.
Sure. But just how all the story is told and how the world is interconnected, and you can see one area from another, and they sort of have like these connections to each other that you can figure out and such.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was done the best there, unsurprisingly, perhaps, since it was the first one, but still.
Technically, Demon Souls was the first one, but
That one worked out a little differently.
yeah, Demon Souls is very different overall.
It was also
I
good.
see you never grabbed the binoculars in Morningstar.
I forgot them, I guess. Or maybe I did get them, but I just didn't use them. Oh no, here they are.
Ah, okay. See, these enemies are very, very weak to strike damage, so it's great to have the Morningstar out for them.
Oh, sure.
You can two-hand it safely.
For a second there, I thought I knocked a white phantom over. But it wasn't, it was a statue. I thought I'd somehow reached into someone else's game and just smacked them.
One of my favorite little touches is that you see a phantom like that, especially if it was a a blood pool. If they get parried, you get to still hear the parry sound. It's great.
Yeah. I didn't actually know about that because I not
It's
seen
really
it
rare
happen.
because
Yeah.
it's really rare because enemies don't usually parry players.
No. It's like
The
the
vast
occasional
majority of enemies
skeleton.
can't. The occasional skeleton, the Estoc wielding hollow soldiers in this zone can.
Oh yeah, that's true. Though I don't think I've ever had it happen to me. But I keep interrupting myself. I think Dark Souls 2 is the most fun to just fight stuff in, just overall.
Fair enough.
And I think the PvP is the best in this one.
The thing that I like the most about Dark Souls 2 is it's the most replayable because everything is good. There's not a single bad choice of build or weapon or whatever in this game.
Sure. I don't really have a good eye for that. I usually just grab whatever and hit things with it, regardless.
Yeah, and then you end up with a bastard sword or warp sword in the end.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. No, but I have done runs in vanilla Dark Souls 2 where I tried a bunch of different things.
Problem with vanilla Dark Souls 2 with that is that vanilla Dark Souls 2 is so phobic about actually giving you various weapon types and giving you good stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you just don't get access to so many of the cool weapons until way later on in vanilla Dark Souls 2. That's probably the best change from vanilla to Scholar. Is that they actually give you things flat.
Oh yeah, I agree. Totally agree. The fact that they give you the dull ember so early now that you can, actually upgrade whatever you want.
Yeah.
As soon as you get there, you can just max out as something. And
Dull Ember just out of nowhere, you can get, you can get the Grand Lance very early on, where previously in vanilla Dark Souls 2, you know where the Grand Lance was? It was in one of the Giant's memories.
Yeah.
Also, it was hidden in a Giant's memory where you had to drop down from the rafters onto a very small platform, and then do a stupid roll jump through a hole and fight a giant in there for it. It was the most hidden weapon in the game.
Yeah,
and also you could only use it for last boss.
Yeah, basically. It kind of felt like the Giant's memories. They were probably part of the original plan, but it kind of felt like there was supposed to be more with the Giants, because in this game, such as it is, it kind of feels like...
in the memory of Jay, which is the boss one of those ones, the only one you actually have to do.
Yeah.
There is a single giant in it that has a different face from all of the other giants. That face right there was probably the original head and face of the giants, because the very first trailer for this game had a split second flash of a look at an enemy that looked like that. And they got significantly changed over time.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. What was it? Oh yeah, but it just feels like by the time you hit the memories and you get the Grand Lance there, it feels like there was supposed to be more stuff, even from the beginning. like them having something that hidden that late, so that you can basically only use it against the last boss. It felt like they were planning to have more stuff, but then they changed it to Scholar anyway, so it's all good. I don't know, that would make no sense. I know. Did the coal drop or something?
Sorry, I had to do a thing real quick.
Okay. I was worried it
What
was
are you
more
drinking at?
technical errors.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, I had levels. Those are good. No, I just said that it feels like after you get the Grand Lance, after the Giant's Memories, there was supposed to be more initially.
Probably.
That's the feeling I got.
It's
but
like you
now
get
it's-
the Giant's Kinship and then you go fight the final boss. That's it.
Yeah, it's like the Giant's Kinship. Yeah, I got the. What's that? I don't know.
I wonder what that is. Yeah.
What? Like you stabbed the giant lord in the foot for a while, and he's like, "I like you. Have an orb."
Each king has his rightful throne, and when he sits upon it, he sees what he chooses to see. Or perhaps it is the throne which shows the king only what he wants. The flames roar, but will soon begin to fade, and only a worthy heir might burnish their light. What is it truly a claimant of the throne could desire? And you know what that second part is? The song with the flames roar? That was only added in the Scholar of the First Sin patch. So, like, originally it was completely meaningless nonsense.
Yep. I know they changed a lot of item
They
descriptions.
fleshed out a lot of item descriptions in Scholar, yeah, specifically because
They were bad.
there was a serious problem with base game Dark Souls 2 being vague for vagueness sake.
Yep.
So they actually decided to elaborate on some stuff and make a lot more things more clear, which was for the better, honestly.
I agree.
So you gave that soldier a backhand in the middle of your combo.
Yeah, there is a problem. Like, the PC controls work fine except for one thing, and that is to do
The forward plus attack inputs,
yeah.
like the jump attack and the guard break.
Yeah. The weird thing is that the jump attack I can do like almost every time. Oh, hello. But the guard break I can't, because what I have to do is I have to tap, attack, and then press forward some amount of time afterwards.
Right.
But if I want to do the jump attack, I just double
Do them
click
at the
to do a
same
heavy
time.
attack, but on the second click I press forward. And that works pretty much every time. So occasionally I will
weird.
do guard break when I don't want to, and if I ever try to intentionally do guard break, I will fail. Pretty much.
Gotcha.
It's another reason why I like using two-handed greatswords, because then you don't need a guard break, you just hammer on their shield until it breaks. Just smash through all their stamina, and that works fine too. Oh no! You got crushed.
Get on the floor.
Turtle Man. What I should have done from the beginning is just make him smash one of the barrels, but it's I was afraid he'd hit me, ironically. Oh,
I have had bad experiences with touching barrels, unfortunately. One of the times I've died on stream from
oh, I was there for that, I think.
yeah, it was I walked up to I was fighting the two royal swordsmen in front of the place where you fight the you go to fight the ruin sentinels, and I didn't accidentally, I walked out, and the jailer, the mummy guy, was there, already starting to attack, and he touched an exploding barrel that exploded, threw me off the ledge, and I died within like the first 5 minutes of that stream. It sucked.
Ew, yeah, I remember. Because you were like, yeah, I've been preparing for several hours to do... Oh, I'm dead.
It's 4 hours every time at least. It's gonna be 6 hours plus from here on out.
So, I'm not as fancy as you are, and I can't... The hell was that? Pursuer, you're gonna have to stop coming up with new attacks. You're scaring me.
Oh yeah. Pursuer has like 18 rare attacks that he doesn't use very often. The Pursuer, I think, has the most attacks out of literally any enemy in this game, but you only usually see like 4 of them because
Yeah.
his AI very heavily favors those ones first because they're simple and they won't mess with you.
Yeah. Kind of... I'm upset by that. There...
I mean, in a way, I really like it because he just always surprises you every time. It's great. He
I
also
guess
only
so.
uses some of them when he's powered up, when he's all juiced up on your humanity.
There are, I started, again, I started talking about it, I like this game for the combat and the PvP. I think it's very fair on all counts, and it has the best PvP covenant.
Yep. What do you like 3 the most for?
Sorry?
What do you like 3 the most for?
Boss fights.
Okay.
I
enough.
think, boss fights like Sullivan and Dragon Slayer Armor, even bosses that aren't that hard or really that involved, like what is his name? The Big Skeleton, I think that's his official name.
High Lord Volnir.
Volnir, that's right.
Yeah.
Even Volnir I like just because he's so effective.
I like the spectacle of Volnir.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Like, fighting him is whatever, but I like that. Oh, big skeleton. That's good.
Oh, what a kidder. This big old skeleton man.
Yep, pretty
Like,
much.
I've got boss fights in 3 that I do like a lot. Pontiff Sullivan, like you mentioned, probably my favorite boss fight from Dark Souls 3. He's really good overall. But, and I've brought this up before, I feel like Dark Souls 3 took the wrong lessons from Bloodborne in its development.
The dodging thing.
The dodging thing. The thing is, with Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, dodging takes so little stamina and gives you so many iframes that it's pretty much free to do constantly at all times, which gave the developers free reign to make enemies and bosses have like 5 to 10 hit combos, which I think is terrible.
I'll say I don't really mind it so much as far as enemies go. But I really mind it in PvP. It makes PvP the worst thing in the world. I hate it. Because you can't catch anyone. It's a combination of the you can roll forever and you can heal instantly, so you can't catch anyone.
Yeah. Also, instant healing, I think, was bad even in the first Dark Souls. And everyone knew it was terrible in Demon Souls, where it originated, because it's like, alright, in Demon Souls, where everyone has endless amounts of, when you're doing PvP, everyone has endless amounts of instant heal everything grass. It's just miserable
Yeah.
to actually catch people.
Oh, by the way, did you see the thing there? You know, I
that see
mentioned,
the thing.
yeah, where I broke the guard of a spear guy and riposted him in the face.
No.
I did it up on the platform, so. There's
didn't
proof.
see that.
There's proof on video.
Hold on a second. I need to roll back the tape. I'm gonna have to watch that myself.
So I didn't get a firebomb, so I'm gonna have to do something real dumb here.
Oh yeah, you forgot to buy a firebomb?
Yeah. It's all good. I'll just take this explosion to the face. Hello, one of your finest somethings. How about this hat and this rock and this branch? Now give me a thing. Did she? Yeah. Pack up and move. Good, good, good. So, now I get some more souls, and I get some more damage with the Ring of Blades. Sit my ass down. And I've spent so much of my souls that I don't need to go back anymore, so I can just press on.
I'm about to peep this so-called thing you did.
Magical. Oh, I'm gonna do it again. Haha! I did it again. Live. On stream.
Did it
It
again
happened.
live? Well, let's check that out.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I believe you that you're capable of doing it. Okay?
Right?
Now here's the thing. On my version of the game, I tested it myself as well. I actually tested it in a strange and unfair way, where I actually booted up Cheat Engine and gave myself unlimited stamina. And I actually attacked one of those enemies for about 12 hits straight. And he died before his guard broke, because I just did too much damage through his guarding.
Interesting.
I don't know what the difference is there, but I can't do it while you can.
Well...
I don't know.
Maybe it's the European version that's different or something?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe there's a difference there, yeah.
That'd be bizarre. Like, why would they change something like that? I wouldn't put it past From, of course, to do things just to confuse the users. Wouldn't be the first time.
I wasn't gonna bring up that that whole thing unless it happened on live or whatever, because yeah, I did do my own testing as well, and I can't do it. I'm not allowed. It's just illegal for me to try and pull that off. I guess I'm just not allowed to guard break fucking the spear wielding Hollow Knight soldiers. I just can't do it.
It's illegal in America. No shield
Yeah,
breaking.
it's illegal in America, but Europe's got it, no problem.
Yeah. It's cool though. Cultural soul differences. Got a winged spear. Are those any good?
Winged spear is okay. I don't like it as much as the other spears because there's no swing on it unless you're doing a what do you call it? Rolling attack. Both of its rolling attacks, one and two-handed, have a overhead swing or a like uppercut swing. Neither of which have any horizontal motion. I don't like the winged spear because it has almost no horizontal attacks.
Fair. Yeah, I don't like stabby weapons most of the time. I do like it with this sword for some reason. I feel like I have more control when I use this sword. I
You
guess
have
it's
more
because
control when using the longsword, huh? Gee, I wonder.
What?
The most basic weapon in the entire game, by far, designed to be as user-friendly as possible.
Sure. But I mean, this Poke, I feel like I'm more precise with that poke than with a spear poke for some reason.
Have you tried out rapiers?
Yeah. I miss everything with rapiers. It's, if I locked on, it would probably not be a problem, but I try to avoid locking on so I can move more freely.
You can move freely when you're locked on in this game. You can sprint while you're locked on in this one even.
Yeah, you can, but if you want to run straight backwards, you have to turn off lock on first.
I suppose.
And I like to do that in situations like this, actually. So it's one of those things where I feel like I've escaped death by not being locked on enough that I just don't like doing it much.
I
But,
personally don't like to do it because showing my back to the enemy is always a poor choice. You see, scars on the back are a swordsman's shame. Therefore, I'm not allowed to have them.
I know it's good when fighting people in PvP because they try to backstab you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's another thing that I do like about Dark Souls 3 is the expanded movesets of a lot of weapons. I do like that there's more you can do than just the attacks.
For the most part, I think the weapon arts were not a good idea. But
No.
in the case of like the stance ones, those are all good. I like the stance weapon arts.
Yeah,
It allows undead.
those are the ones I mean,
I personally don't think it was worth giving up power stancing for, but that's me. I think power stancing is the best. Power stancing, in fact, rules hardcore.
it's cool. I think I know why they did that.
Well, okay, it's their own fault. They're the ones who literally never referred to power stancing existing in this game at all outside of the
Yeah.
menu. It's their own fault. They decided to make it like unintuitive because they're dumb.
Yeah, but
They could
They
point
never
it.
admit that. Instead, they just took it out. It's like, obviously, this is too complicated for you, serfs.
Those motherfuckers. How dare they?
We're just gonna take it out and make it into a weapon-specific thing instead. Because you're too dumb to read the manual. Which everyone does, especially in the modern age. Read the manual. Anyway, yeah, I do miss power stancing in 3.
It's so good. Power stancing is so much fun.
It is.
Have you ever power stanced? What do you call them? No, you haven't because you mentioned you haven't done this before. Power stancing great axes is great. Oh, it's so good. If they're low-held great axes, like the Gurm great axe or the Lion's great axe or the Bandit's one.
Yeah.
If you power stance those, you get the straight sword power stance moveset. It's so strong. It's so good.
Yeah, I heard about that, and someone told me it was a bug. And I
It's
was
not
like,
a bug.
that sounds like a bug because your damage output would be ridiculous. But saying it's not a bug, so
I think there may have been a bug associated with it, just not doing the normal power stance thing and cutting your damage slightly per weapon hit. Maybe that was the case, because they did eventually nerf it slightly by making it cut your damage some.
Oh. Well, it just sounded like it would be insanely strong.
It's pretty good. Problem is that if you actually want to do that, you need to have like 75 strength.
Fair. You're not gonna do much
So,
else
like,
than
if
hit
you-
people with axes.
Yeah, if you've gone that deep on strength, I think you should be rewarded for being it.
Yeah.
Personally.
And it's fair. It's like your was it 96 attunement?
Oh yeah, nice.
Fireball
Pure Pyromancy
machine
is
gun.
so good. Pure Pyromancy is so good, y'all. It's really not possible to do a new game, just like flat. That's a new game plus only thing. But it's 96 attunement. My cast time is like 3 times faster than base cast time. I can cast a Lingering Flame in like half a second instead of nearly 2.
That's terrifying.
It's so good. Forbidden Sun comes out instantly.
No. You can't do that. So you turn into a desert sorceress, basically, except the player version.
Yeah. Yeah. It's completely fucked up.
People run up to you and hit you, and they instantly die.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You did not miss the final boss. This is a newly started up game.
I mean, that was the final boss right there. Sorry.
Yep.
Got a bastard sword from him. Ah! No, I don't want to die here.
Don't be tempted. Oh, Hollow Knight? I'm not sure.
Oh, no. Still got the final boss left. I'm just not doing it straight. I'm doing it tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
There's a few more charms and items to get, and the final boss. And the final boss is a huge fucker. I mean, I like him, but he's gonna mess me up. I'm gonna have to refight him a bunch of times before I get him, I'm pretty sure.
I've got a gigantic dinner party to cook for tomorrow, so
Sweet.
I'm gonna be busy all day with cooking.
And hopefully eating? Maybe, possibly. Someone allowed to.
In fact, I've still got a lot of prep to do before tomorrow. Well, I've got the 3 whole chickens butterflied, and I've turned their spines into stock. In fact, I actually need to go drain that stock pretty soon.
Oh.
And I've also chopped a lot of vegetables. I still need to chop 3 more different types of vegetables, a whole bunch of bread, and I also need to make bread dough today. So I've still got 5 or so tasks left, which means about 3 hours of cook prep to do still.
It sounds like caught you on a bad day, actually.
There was no day in this week that's actually a good day, is the thing. So I found the best day possible of this week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll trundle through for a bit more. I wasn't actually going to stream today. I just thought it would be fun to talk Dark Souls 2 with someone who likes it.
Yeah. Like I said, there's only about 3 of us in the world who think it's the best one, so you're not going to find that many people who feel so passionately about it. It's like, okay, there's me, Dr. Video Games Austin Walker, and like maybe one other person who I don't know, and I think maybe lives in a cave.
Oh. I think Bomberman or whatever its name is. I think he likes
I
it.
think H-Bomber Guy actually likes Bloodborne the
Bomber
most.
guy. Oh, that's gonna be a... No? Thought that was gonna be an explosion.
I know that he likes Dark Souls 2 and he thinks it's a fine game, but I don't think that he likes it the most.
Right. Yeah. I do wish I could play Bloodborne at some point. So it does look fun, even if I watched so many, you know, LPs and stuff of it that I know where everything is at this point already. So it takes away from it a little bit.
I think these games are better when you do know what to do, and trying to do it completely blind is a fool's errand to start with. I'm half and half on that.
I really like the sense of being lost and exploring and not knowing what will happen. But at the same time, Dark Souls 2, especially, I enjoyed a whole lot more after like knowing where everything is and such.
Yeah, it's a game that's better on replays.
But Dark Souls 1, I would say the opposite, probably. Or somewhere in between, rather. I enjoyed the first playthrough a
Dark
whole
Souls
lot.
1, I would agree, but only because I think very poorly about the latter half of the game. If I didn't know it was coming, I think I would enjoy it more. In fact.
Yeah, it's not the best part.
I don't even think Enter Londo is good, personally.
I liked Anor Londo a whole lot when I first got there because I thought it was incredibly cool.
Oh yeah,
And-
it looks great. It's got some good ass art direction and all that. The problem I have with it is that there's like 3 enemies there, 2 of which aren't interesting, and the third one is the easiest enemy in the game, basically.
The Silver Knight.
Yeah, the Silver Knights, the world's most parryable thing.
Yeah,
Like, the most parryable thing in the world, in fact.
that's fair. No, I found that when you play Dark Souls 1 enough, then that applies to like everything.
Yeah.
Parrying is very easy in Dark Souls 1. Not that I
Have
mind.
you- Have you gotten good at parrying in this one yet?
Nope.
You just gotta unlearn your muscle memory. Come on, dude. You can learn. It's great.
I could, but
It's very
It's-
strong. It's still very good.
my parrying is it's congealed in Dark Souls 3 at the moment, and I don't want to move it for now.
Oh, well, okay. Dark Souls 2 and 3 have very, very similar mechanics.
Yeah,
The difference is purely cosmetic, basically. See, while Dark Souls 3 has, like, the visual parry animations of Dark Souls 1, the timing on it is actually significantly more similar to 2's, where there's a couple of startup frames where they're not active.
yeah. I noticed that it was, or at least it felt like it was somewhere in between. Like, I found it easier to parry with any shield in 3 than it was in 2.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little bit easier in general.
It might be a little bit easier, but the
not
overall
like a whole lot.
timing
Yeah.
is very similar.
You have to be a little bit, not predictive necessarily, but you can't just smack it away at the very last millisecond, like when it's basically entered your flesh. You can't parry then, like you can in 1. You have to do it right before it hits you. So that's different. But yeah,
Demon Souls was my first Souls outing, and I actually only played it about 4 times. I mean, only 4 times. That's
yeah. That's
real
more than
minuscule
most
number
games.
of times to play a game. Yeah, 4. Unfortunately, I never had the confidence in Demon Souls to do a lot of parrying.
Hmm. It was I'm gonna assume you haven't seen it, but Super Great Friend played Demon Souls up to the first boss completely blind on stream one time. And he's like reading all the messages, like, okay, parrying, okay, do parrying like this. And he walked up to the first enemy in the game with a sword, and it's like, parry, stab. Okay, I think I got it. And he just did that for like everything.
Makes sense.
That was terrifying to see. It's
The secret is that the timing I think is easiest in Demon Souls, even over Dark Souls 1. But very few enemies in that game actually can be parried. It's like almost everything in World 1 you can in the Castle Volataria. But
Yeah.
once you get beyond that, very few enemies can be.
Yeah, it's just a tiny aside. I like that they you mentioned things they brought over from Bloodborne to Dark Souls 3. bleh, I
Yeah.
can't talk. And the infinite rolling was a bad thing, which I can agree with. A thing that I do like that I added is that you can stun things and riposte them.
Yeah.
Just by hitting them a bunch.
Visceral attacks being a thing in 3 as well is also good. Yep, for certain.
Just lets you parry large things, basically.
Yeah. It lets you get in those kinds of attacks against large enemies, yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. But anyway, that was, a good start. Gonna continue this one at some point, but
Oh, that's it?
yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep you if you need to cook a bunch.
I mean, yeah, I do, but I'm willing to go a little bit further at least.
Oh, okay.
This is only
sure.
how long?
I don't
This
know.
was barely
It's
over an hour.
just- Sure, I know, but this was fairly unplanned in general. It was just like, man, I just wanna play some Dark Souls with friend. So that was
Friend.
basically my friend in quotes. Dark, evil, enemies and villains. No, but yes,
Unfortunately, I can't get particularly excited or hoot and holler over the Forest of Fallen Giants that much,
no.
given I'm pretty much sick of doing the Forest of Fallen Giants over and over again at this point.
Yeah, no, it's still a decent enough area. I think it's you.
Oh no,
I-
it's a
I'm-
fine area.
yeah.
I just got tired of it after doing it like 10 times in a month.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You mentioned the fact that they had to change how the game was supposed to be completed because the first director got a bit too excited.
He was way too ambitious and more or less was running his own project into the ground because of it.
And you can sort of tell with Forest of Fallen Giants, I think, because I think he wanted every area to be like that, pretty much.
Yeah, probably.
So I think he said at some point, I remember some interview where he said, I want every area to have like a sense of verticality, and you need to, you would be able to pick a path to go through it, and each path would be like completely different.
Yeah.
And that, obviously, that didn't
Did
That
not
didn't
pan
happen.
out at all.
no.
The opposite of that panned out, in fact.
Yeah.
He said a lot of things. Like, Dark Souls 2 was also originally supposed to be separated into 2 distinct halves, where the first half of it was going to be very cinematic and actually not that combat heavy and have a lot of, like,
Wow.
weird story stuff go on instead. And then the second half of the game, which was much more traditional, fight a lot of things in a row kind of thing that you would know about from the previous Souls games. And you were going to be allowed to just start from that second half of the game if you wanted.
Weird.
Yeah. That guy had ideas that did not pan out at all.
I mean, I'm glad he had
Lucadil
ideas,
was
but
also basically Don Quixote. And the little bell-ringing dwarf, that was Sancho Panza.
oh. Oh, that explains the mask, if nothing else. But, I've forgotten something. Oh yeah, I should upgrade something I have. So I can hit slightly harder. That seems like an idea.
Or you could just use your Morning Star and then take these guys out in like 3 hits.
Nah, that's fair. I'll just Bab Titanite. Let's throw an upgrade on a Morning Star, why not?
Hey, I mean, defeat the Deadly Windmill, that's still in this game.
Oh yeah. Was that supposed to be, like, her quest or
I
something?
doubt it. I don't think Harvest Valley... Well, okay, Harvest Valley actually might have been an early area idea in this game because the mannequins were an early enemy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Interesting.
The mannequins, of course, famously had their mask design changed. First and foremost, they don't have heads in the final game, and the mask that you can get of them looks completely different.
Yeah. Which is kind
There's
of confusing.
no known reason for why that's the case, but probably just had to do with aesthetic idea changes.
Or Naruto.
I doubt that the Naruto idea is real. Like, people have said, oh, it's too similar to the Naruto mask or whatever, and
Yeah.
I supremely doubt that that's the case. I really don't think that influenced it at all.
Yeah, probably not. Though it would be funny if that was, if that was why. That'd be pretty funny. I don't know why I'm getting hit by these guys now.
Yeah, Harvest Valley, they mined for ranch dressing, and then they refined it into the gunk that, Baneful Queen Mytha restores her health with.
Mayo.
Ranch dressing, which has a large mayo component. Everyone knows that when you mine for mayo, it comes out as a vile green gas at first.
Yeah. It's just have to take it through the refineries a few times, like it.
Yeah, the windmill refineries.
Yeah.
You
They're-
refine it through a windmill. It's great.
Yeah. It's deadly for humans. It's like blowfish. You know, has to be specially prepared before you can eat it.
Absolutely. Have you tried? You're not gonna eat ranch dressing just straight. You gotta have some kind of preparation with it. Alternatively, if you do eat ranch dressing straight, I don't want to meet you.
No, it's it adds a, if you somehow survive it, it adds a permanent gunk. You know, you'll never smell the same ever again. It just changes your pores, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore, but
What
it's
else?
fine.
What else happened in the development of Dark Souls 3 that was crazy and stupid? All right, so you know the Executioner's Chariot?
Yes.
Yeah,
My
the
favorite
Executioner's
boss.
Chariot. The boss, the puzzle boss. That was originally going to be chasing you basically throughout the entire game.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And not, you just found it once and then killed it.
I mean, it ended up pretty good.
Oh no, it's fine. It's probably my favorite puzzle boss in the entire series. It's a fine boss.
Yeah.
But
Same.
it wasn't going to just be in that one optional side zone in Huntsman's Copse.
Yeah. The same with Pursuer. So they
Well, I mean, the Pursuer, that's actually a translation thing. The Pursuer does not have the name the Pursuer in Japanese.
Sure, but I still remember an interview where they talked about the Pursuer and that you would encounter him here and he would show up in other places in the game chasing you down because it's a hunter of undead or something like that. Like they did.
I mean, they did do that a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. But like it
And then
just
in Scholar,
kinda
they
poofs.
yeah, and then in Scholar they put in 4 more Pursuers, so...
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I appreciate that, but it's... I think they more said that, or at least the dev, which I assume is the guy, the crazy guy, or the ambitious guy at least. I'm pretty sure he said that the way it appears the first time, where it arrives via bird, that would be like something that would happen multiple times, not that it would just rise from the ground.
Maybe. There was actually a big design idea that they wanted to do, which was a lot of bosses would be defeatable early, and that a lot of like zones would be involving making bosses more just like easier, like getting to a different arena or something instead of fighting them that first time you see them, or weakening them some way so you can actually face them later on.
Ah, like we're currently doing with the easiest boss in the game.
Yeah. The easiest boss in the game, 2 of which can murder you relentlessly, and no one can ever say that's an easy boss fight so long as I will die in such embarrassing ways.
That never happened. Come on.
Never ever.
Also, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do much about it because of the full screen thing, but thanks for all you people following this silly channel. Just because
yeah.
I'm playing Dark Souls. No.
I probably should have been much more up on reading those out.
No, that's not your...
Yeah,
it's
the
not
Queen
your
Micah
job.
fight also has a little... What are you talking about? It's not my job. I'm the cohort. The cohort has a job, and that's to keep people entertained. And also do things that you can't do at the moment. I take my job as cohort very seriously. That's why I'm the cohort for literally everyone.
Even yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't look at the screen right now, so let me look at the screen. Are you ordering yourself around on your solo streams? Like, why haven't you done this? Excellent. This guy has a bit too much health.
Oh yeah. This Hate Knight is stronger than all the other ones. Also, he's a Spear Hate Knight, which are terrible.
They're really hard to fight straight on.
Yep.
Just like the way you fight them. So you just backstab
Yeah,
them
I mean,
over and over.
This Hate Knight you're actually not supposed to fight yet, as you're aware, because you're going to fight the old Dragon Slayer right now.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know what's good against dragons, like except for, excluding lightning. Are they weak to any damage type?
No. In fact, they're not even weak to lightning in this one.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm gonna use this. It's upgraded.
In fact, Sin from the first DLC, the Sunken City, is specifically resistant to lightning.
Nice. I approve. Like, screw your pre-knowledge. You're not gonna get any... No easy victories here, just because you played the previous game.
Dragon Taint Scratcher 2014.
Yeah. I like the dragon a lot, actually. I was missing a dragon in this game. Just in general, this area, just overall, Tower of Flame, was my least favorite area in vanilla Dark Souls 2.
They improved it a lot by making it a lot more dynamic.
Yeah. Now
also,
it's,
they
I
made
like
it
a
look
lot.
slightly better. The lighting was improved in this zone. It's the most striking visual improvement from base game Dark Souls 2 to Scholar Dark Souls 2.
Oh, totally. Excluding things like Huntsman's Copse, in that you can actually see anything now.
Yeah.
Because previously, like, I got to Huntsman's Copse, and I was like, is my eyesight going? Like, I can see a green-brown blur, and that's like everything I can see here.
Well enough, Huntsman's Copse. That was the network test area.
Yeah.
The area that they did for the original network test of this game, and it didn't look that much different from how the end game, like the end version of the game, looks, which is kind of interesting because people didn't complain about the difference in visual fidelity until after the game was actually released from the.
I guess they didn't want to.
The first versions of the game, which were, if you actually tried to put those first versions of the game, the ones that we saw as the first gameplay footage, or tried to put those on a PS3 and an Xbox 360, you would get not frames per second, but rather seconds per frame.
Yeah,
Probably put that out on PS4, but
it's
that's about it.
yeah, it's a bit late for that. I mean, I'll take it. When I played this game the first time, I also kind of hated it. Because I tried to play it like Dark Souls 1, and I was blocking things with a shield and getting stunned and knocked over and feeling rather inadequate against everything.
If you're going to be using a shield in this game, there's only two real options. You're using a parrying shield, or you're using a great shield.
Yeah.
Great shields are totally still fine in this game, but the medium shields as a primary defense option kind of aren't.
Yeah, that's usually what I tell people, and no one listens to me. For some reason. Like, medium shields are bad. Nah, I'm gonna use it anyway. What? Why is this game so hard? Oh, a
They're
third
fine,
attack.
but only for like blocking one attack and then rolling out of the way.
Yeah.
They're kind of a safety net as opposed to a primary defense option.
I'm realizing, fighting this guy here, that I'm used to having a bit more damage.
Used to having a bit what?
A bit more damage output.
Oh yeah. This boss, which you're not really intended to fight until a good ways later.
Is that true? I mean,
Yeah.
he dies incredibly quickly if you fight him any later.
Yeah, but he is still reasonably complex as far as
Sure.
the way that this game introduces boss fight elements, you know?
Sure. That's fair. It was the first boss that gave me any trouble.
I want to say it's probably roughly the same level as the Ruined Sentinels in fight complexity, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's not as hard, obviously, but...
No, because the Ruined Sentinels, they're multiple enemies, which is inherently hard in fighting one enemy.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I remember when I played this game the first time and I really didn't like it. That was vanilla Dark Souls 2, not Scholar. This was the first. It was a weird sort of. I don't know, what is the word for it? Like I was disappointed and frustrated at the same time. Because I was
a fair number of people's first time with Dark Souls 2. I won't say that it's not. It wasn't mine, but it was a lot of people's. I won't say that it's strange or weird or anything of the sort to have that as your first reaction to playing this game. Because it is just different enough from Dark Souls 1 that if you tried to play it like Dark Souls 1, you will not succeed that well.
Yeah, I
that can be
eventually realized that, but it took me a long time. But what I was going to say was that I simultaneously thought the bosses were too easy and the enemies were too hard, basically. It felt like I was dying to getting ganged up on by crowds, and then I got to a boss and I killed it on my first try, and it just felt wrong. Until I got to Old Dragon Rider, or Old Dragon Slayer, rather, and then it felt better again. I was like, maybe the game isn't so bad. Maybe there are things that will fight back and, be actual challenges. But then it went right back to bosses being too easy again. Yeah. I'm not big on most of the bosses in vanilla Dark Souls 2. I think most of them are just too easy.
They're not great. I'll admit that. There's like a handful of them that I think are particularly good. And I do mean a handful, like maybe 3 or 4 out of the 30 bosses in this game. And then I think most of the DLC bosses are just good. Just flat out.
I entirely agree. The only DLC bosses I don't particularly like are the repeating ones.
I don't like Blue Smelter Demon, and I don't like Ava, the single cat. I actually do like the double cat fight. I think the two cats is a much more interesting fight than the single cat.
Alright. I didn't like them very much, but it's my opinion of them is colored by the fact that it's so frustrating
Also,
to
they're
get
at
to
the
them.
end of the worst zone of the game.
Yeah.
The worst zone in the series.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's-
I kind of understated how bad Frozen Outskirts is. It's really bad. Frozen Outskirts is terrible.
Yeah. It's, no one wants to go there. Like
I will
literally
sing
no
glowing
one.
praises of the, I will sing glowing praises of this game, and then also say Frozen Outskirts is fucking garbage. It is the worst zone in the series, and you shouldn't do it if you can avoid it. Unfortunately, probably my favorite weapon in the game is dropped as a weapon, is a soul item from one of the two cats. So
Oh, which one is that?
there's that, I guess.
Which weapon is that?
The Lois Greatsword is really good.
Oh. Do you get a lot of use out of that? Well, I guess you play New
You
Game
can
Plus.
you can do Alea and Lois the moment that you get to Dragonlight Castle, so you can get as much gameplay out of it as you want. You can
Fair.
even back off from actually doing the other two DLCs until you do Alea and Lois, so
Yeah,
you can get as much use out of that weapon as you so choose, really.
that's fair, but then you have to go through Frozen Outskirts.
I've done it
early.
before.
I don't want to do it ever. So
That's fair.
Oh well,
I've done it before.
I get you. I've done stupid things in Souls games that, like,
The secret to making that bearable is you have to summon all three of the phantoms that they give you there.
that makes sense, yeah. And they,
Particular because one of them is a healer, and she can heal the other two.
okay.
And
makes
because the Phantom AI was a lot better in the DLC zones, she's actually pretty good at doing it. Yeah, I think it's also fair to say that Frozen Outskirts is worse than Lost Izalith, which is absolutely saying something.
Yeah.
Now, there is one good thing, is that the Frozen Outskirts is 4 times deep optional, so
Yeah.
you never have to do it, thankfully.
Yeah.
It's like fighting an Asian dragon, where it is absurdly optional. It's
Yeah.
the worst, but at least you can ignore it without having to worry about it at all.
Yeah.
With
I'm
Lost
probably-
Izalith, you have to spend 30 humanity very, very slowly because there's no way to spend more than one at a time. And open up a shortcut if you want to avoid doing that, so...
I don't know. I thought it was almost more annoying to go past the bridge with the demon on it
Oh, the
than
one-
go through the
that demon.
lava.
I think the Tynite Demon is way less of a deal than all of the lava butts.
Yeah, that was just back when I played it. It was just this guy. I think it was mainly I went through the shortcut, and I tried to run past him, and he knocked me off. And I was like, oh, that's a decent run back there. I think I'll just go the regular entrance. You know what? Because you can dodge almost all the dinosaur butts in the lava just by running in
You
straight
you
lines.
you can dodge the Tynite Demon too, but the thing is you have to let it do the jumping attack on you first and foremost. If you can have that baited out, then you can avoid the Tynite Demon.
Fair enough. Have I forgotten anything? I guess maybe I should go back and farm some Hide Knight armor. No.
I despise the bounding demons of Izalith, aka the butts of the undead dragons. I think they're awful.
Yeah, they're annoying enemies. They're kind of effective, I guess, but at the same time, I get the feeling that was a sort of last minute entry, kind of like the Faces of the Giants and other things like that.
Oh yeah. Lost Izalith is a zone that Hidetaka Miyazaki has publicly apologized for the state of the zone. Was absolutely just an unfinished zone. You can also tell because there's a part of it that is just completely untextured, and you can look into the video game void. Like the parts where, okay, we'll put this here so you don't actually just look into the nothingness that is the actual game world outside of your like skybox and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, that...
It's right before the boss. It's like in the pits, right?
Right.
Over the side before you go down into the Bed of Chaos fight.
Okay, I think I remember. Yeah, that was a bad area. But I think I hate it less than most people still.
Crystal Chaos.
Not the boss though. Still hate the boss. I know people who don't think that Bed of Chaos was such a big deal because you can cheese it in some fashion. But I never knew about that or figured it out, so I always had to fight it the way you're quote unquote supposed to, and it sucked every time.
Yep. I did eventually figure out a way to guarantee always landing on the route, but still.
Yeah. And I don't even think I would have hated it so much if it wasn't for the fact that the run back is so long. Even if you find the secrets. So it's just, yeah, it is bad.
But yeah, Lost Izalith.
Yeah.
Hell of a thing.
Hell of a thing.
Wait, no. Why are you using the fragrant breath of your here? You used it in the worst place possible.
Nice.
No.
I'm inefficient.
Look at this anarchist over here.
I don't care
Primal
about
Knights are
anything.
also weak. Primal Knights are also weak to piercing damage.
No, that makes sense. I'm just looking at the big number. It says +2. That means good. It means hit hard. And no one's gonna dissuade me. Actually, you might
All
dissuade
you
me.
get from doing this one is an Estus Flash Shard and the Knight's Armor. That's it.
Hooray! I'm gonna celebrate by putting a new hat on.
It's an ugly hat.
There we go. Not only have I used the branch in a bad place, but I put on an ugly hat just to spite my co-commentator.
I hate it.
No, that reminds me. I should do the side area in. I should get a better hat, and I should do the side area in the forest. I can't neglect fighting Armorer Dennis.
Oh yeah. If you want to go grab the leather equipment.
Yeah. I usually go for just heavy armor because I like how it looks most of the time. But that it feels like it wouldn't suit this character since I'm going so deep into dexterity. Seems like I should be more on the fluffier side of armor.
Let me tell you about extremely powerful fashion souls. Royal
Let's hear it.
Swordsman helmet, obviously, because it's the nicest hat in the game.
Hmm?
Varangian armor, Elite Knight leggings, Royal Swordsman gauntlets. It's a really dope look.
Sounds pretty good. Oh yeah, I haven't gotten the stuff in the mansion either. Maybe I should switch to the scimitar. Oh, actually, you know what? Doesn't Macduff sell some sort of dex weapon?
McDuff? He sells Nuchi-Katana.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's go get one of those, because I never used that in this game.
I don't particularly like the katanas in the Souls games overall, because they have almost no horizontal movement or attacks. It's like the Ido in 1 has 2 attacks that attack horizontally. It's like the rolling attack and its strong attack, and that's it.
Right.
I specifically like the Bewitched Alon sword because it it's extremely horizontal, in fact, being a Nagamaki as opposed to a typical katana.
Right. I mean, we'll get there eventually, but I needed the Dream Heart first, or whatever it's called.
Unfortunately, as far as what do you call it, DLC zones and bosses, Sorolon is the only one that's gated behind something like the Giant's Memories.
Yeah, I'll take a bit.
The Ashen Mist Heart.
Ashen Mist Heart, that's right. That sounds familiar. That sounds like it's something called that has been in another video game or something.
The Ashen Mist Heart is the thing that you need to go into the memories.
I know that, but it sounds... it just sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I've heard it in other video games than Dark Souls 2. But, could be I'm projecting.
It's a manifestation of Ashen Mist received from the Ancient Dragon. The magic of the Ancient Dragon allows one to delve into the memories of the Withered.
What's the deal with the Ancient Dragon?
It's technically not a dragon.
I know that, but beyond that, like, why is it there?
Aldia made it. That's it.
And you're just like, huh, it's a pretty good dragon, but I don't know. Where do we store the thing? Like, man, I got a shrine. You can put it in the shrine.
Yeah, just put it at the top of the shrine. That'll do.
We have this huge platform, and there's like
that's
nothing
perfect
there.
for it. Ooh boy, that platform is gigantic. Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do.
It's a perfect place for a dragon.
There's some lesser-known dialogue in these games, in this game specifically, that if you decide to go back to talk to Nashandra, as she sits in Dragonlight Castle, after specific points of the game, she'll actually have new stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
If you talk to her after getting the Ashen Mist Heart, but not the Giant's Kinship, where she leaves, she actually does talk about the Ancient Dragon.
Oh. Does she say anything about it? That makes sense.
She calls it a prop and a false god.
For who?
For dragons.
For other dragons?
For people who worship dragons, which are, the dragon covenant and stuff.
Right. Huh.
It is not, in fact, actually a dragon.
Yeah. But it has an Ashen Mist Heart. That's what you really need from your dragons. You punch it a bunch and a giant soul pops out of it. That's good too. That would not, not super necessary. What was it I was thinking of? But yeah, I'm probably going to fight Ancient Dragon when we get there.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I know that it's not as bad as it used to be, but I still hate it.
Yeah, it's terrible design. and it's cheap. And for some reason, I like beating up on it for that exact reason. Like, it's shitty and, like, it's difficult in a really weird kind of way, where it's almost immobile, but it still kills you somehow.
Yeah, it's when I say that it's not as bad as it used to be, it's because they nerfed the amount of damage that the fire does to you.
Yeah. Which I
It's not
personally...
instant kill threat anymore.
Yeah, I despise it. I'm so mad about that.
You wish it was still just the worst?
Yeah. I finally figured out how to dodge it 100% of the time, and they nerf it. What's that? I could lord it over people. No, it was awful, and it's good that they did something, but I do know how to dodge it, at least. So, it's something, I guess.
Hey, check it out. I'm a baby bird.
Yeah. No worms. No puking. I don't know if you're referencing it's something.
I am.
I'm not aware of what
It's
it
a
is.
very excellent video that was made over 2 years after this game was released.
Oh. Is it related to the game?
Yeah, it's actually just a basic depiction of one dude's playthrough through this game. Well, two dudes' playthroughs through this game, completely co-op.
No.
It's full of fun little details that no longer hold true because they used lightning, lightning spears, which were absurdly powerful in the first release of the game.
Yeah.
Until they nerfed lightning spear into the ground.
Yeah. They there were a lot of, like, you say what you want about Dark Souls as a multiplayer experience and all that, but they do keep patching the things.
Yeah.
They do actually care, even if they
For what it's worth, even though they nerfed the shit out of lightning spears, Faith is still okay in this game for other reasons. Like, if you want damage, you just use like Heavenly Thunder instead.
Right. But I remember that at one point, Resonant Soul or whatever it's called, the
Yeah, dark.
thing that's dark and costs money for some reason, that could kill almost anything in one hit, like
Yep.
even most bosses. So it makes sense that they would nerf that.
And yeah, they nerfed that as well. The dark plan is actually just to spam dark orbs forever.
Great.
Never underestimate the power of orbs.
Fair. I mean, I do like orbs, but I'm less fond of spamming the same spell over and over.
Just say no to orbs.
I refuse. Orbs forever. But I also really like that, like, despite whether you like fighting Pursuer or not, I like that they added them just so you can have a early source of Twinkling Titanite.
Titanite. Let me tell you about Pursuers being the most important thing in the game in my Deathless Bonfireless run. Because they are super important as the most reliable source of Twinkling Titanite.
Even more so than lizards, because they can't get away.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one guaranteed lizard that drops Twinkling Titanite early on, and it's the one in Brightstone Cove.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought it was more for some reason, but I guess that makes sense.
I can see that I can't.
I should upgrade some sort of weapon. I'm starting to feel weak. So I usually go fight. Well, I usually finish the. That's interesting. Interesting
I mean,
shadows over there.
Yeah. And right now you're going to go get a new weapon to upgrade. Man, I
True.
never noticed those shadows before. Those are interesting. You're right. House? Nah, it doesn't cast a shadow. Ladder and myself? Hell yeah, we shadow it up.
This whole building is just a chimera. It's not actually here. An illusion. I didn't blow up, and I don't think I have fire bombs. Oh,
You've got a fire longsword.
I know. I was about to follow that comment up with, it's time for my face to hurt again.
And I mean, if you picked up everything, you actually should have a set of black fire bombs, but that might be in the side area.
Yeah, I did not. Well, here comes pain. Whee! Not too bad, actually. It's just a fourth of my face. Most of it is still there. I do need
You really
better
still
hat.
got a face, even though a dog is chewing on it.
Yeah, and the barrel exploded in it, you know. Video game explosions are, well, I guess movie explosions as well, but they're not really painting the whole picture, I would say. What happens if you're subjected to one?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, also they say that barrels are the most explosive things that exist, so...
Yeah. It's,
Kind of weird that everything barrel-shaped is actually just a bomb.
yeah. Like, this guy here. It was basically barrel-shaped. Just the same proportions in all directions.
Yeah.
Okay, I got your ember. Here you go. And now I'm gonna buy. By the way, if you never tried using this weapon, the scythe, I can tell you right now, do not buy or use this weapon ever. It is the worst.
Can't get a handle on the halberd sweet spots.
I can't. Well, the sweet spots is one thing, but it just misses. It misses things it has no business missing.
I've not had that problem having used that weapon before.
Okay, well, we have different experiences then. I tried using it, I upgraded it, and I would walk up to an enemy and like stand here somewhere and swing, and I would just go completely through them, and it would look extremely silly, and then they would hit me. But
You need
maybe
a
I'm
single
just bad
level-
at using it.
You need a single level in strength to be
Oh.
able to most effectively one-hand that weapon.
No, well, that's unlikely to happen anyway. Is it? No, I should equip that. Well, I'm unlikely to be one-handing it in any in
It's
the
just the
foreseeable
one
future.
level.
Yeah, I'll get it. Just not. I don't need it to get it right now. Kind of see what you mean. This has a bit of verticality. The light attack and the two-handed swing.
Well, no, they've got plenty of verticality. It's horizontal
Oh.
that I have problems with.
Oh, I misheard. Yeah. Yeah, nah, you're right. It's pretty bad. It's not good. Now, I'm pretty sure, like, if I know my Dungeons and Dragons and such lore, that if there's something skeletons are weak against, it's slicing damage.
They're not resistant to slicing.
They're not.
They are weak to bludgeoning, and they heavily resist piercing.
Oh, okay. Guess it had to be the... Well, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
The main reason why you're doing so much damage to them is because you have 30 dexterity, and you have a +5 weapon. That is very high scaling dexterity.
Yep. No, I'm just reinforcing the fact that I'm bad at using the tools the game gives me, and I just keep stubbornly using the same weapon I have been using, even if it's a bad idea.
Yeah,
Even if
quick warning. Katanas have like 40 durability.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get the brace, what is it called? Brace knuckle ring? Yeah. And try to get that as soon as possible. Where's it
The basic one is in Lost Bastille. It's right next to a Pursuer.
Yeah.
The +1 version is bought from Veliger, I think, and the +2 version is found on the crypt.
Where's the +2 version in the crypt in that case? Because I might have missed it. I don't remember it.
It's... Okay, do you remember the room filled with rocks and dudes that get out of the ground and then try to ring bells?
Yeah.
Right past there where there's the, what do you call it? The Lady of Black Sorceress, who is just casting stuff down on you from a ledge.
Yeah.
If you turn around before you climb the ladder up to that point, there is a corpse there with an item that is the Bracing Knuckle Ring +2, if I remember right.
Okay. Oh, I'll have to make sure to get that.
It's in that general area, if it's not that one specifically.
So that is very useful for dexterity weapons. I think, unless I'm remembering wrong, I think dexterity weapons were just kind of bad initially.
On release, yes, they're bad on release, because dexterity scaling is inherently worse than strength scaling in this game, which, like, you'd be thinking, but that doesn't make that much sense. But no, I mean, like, if you take two values that are the same for strength and dexterity scaling, the strength scaling is going to be better. It's just going to get more benefit out of it. And while that's still true, they lessened it significantly at some point, and now dexterity scaling weapons are A-okay. Also, a lot of them are intended to be used power stanced, which
Intended?
a lot of people didn't even know existed, so...
Ah. How do you know that? Is it just that they have unique animations that are especially effective?
I couldn't
Like-
hear you.
No, is why you say that they were intended to? What makes you say that?
Most of them have power stance movesets that are good, and they basically replace doing strong and weak attacks with those weapons.
Ah.
Like having dual rapiers, you just thrust with your rapiers twice at the same time.
Yeah. It looks kind of
Yes.
silly.
Beware, Dennis. Dennis is here.
The menace.
That's true if the weapons in question were infused. If it's their base value, C on two different weapons is actually the same. If they're infused A or C scaling, those are basically just outright lying to you.
Fraud. In this game?
This game, scaling works differently inherently from all the other ones, where your scaling is derived from a secondary stat as you raise your dexterity, you have dexterity scaling bonus as a secondary stat, and they
Ah,
all work from there rather than from your raw number.
interesting. Well, we're getting somewhere.
You're in
Uh,
a place
Yeah.
as far as fashion goes.
I'll find more stuff later, but.
All right, and now at this point, I should probably go back to preparing my dinner tomorrow.
Right. Well, thank you very much for hanging out.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Nice. Maybe we'll continue it sometime. Maybe.
At some point.
Yeah, sure. Alright. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I was not able to read chat at all because of how Dark Souls 2 is weird with my computer. It makes a lot of noises if I try to play it in window mode. But thanks for hanging out. And hopefully some of you will come back and watch Hollow Knight tomorrow.
Yeah. Also, although I will definitely not be able to continue my Deathless Bonfire's run of these games on Thursday, I will be doing Dragon's Dogma in its place, kind of showing off why that game is good and really fun to do.
And you should go watch that as well. And
Yeah,
keep an eye out. Follow.
I'm MDCT with an underscore between every letter.
Yep. Follow those letters on Twitter and watch that stream. And also
Yeah.
this stream. And again, thanks for coming. Goodbye.